side.
Hello. Hello. Hi. My name is
Hello.
Asiviwendlela, the Puma Eastern Cape.
Asivanga sisubani kama?
Asiviwendlela.
Asindiwe Ndlela.
Viwe. Asiviwe.
Asiviwe.
Yes,
Aha.
Ndlela. Ndisuke Eastern Cape and ndifunda Everett University. And I'm just here to comment and also to pose a question because, guys, financial exclusion is real. And then now when we are all about fees must fall, it seems like we don't want to study. Like it seems like it's a technique we're using not to study, like to defer exams or something like that. But I'm standing here and I'm financially excluded. Okay. Now, what I want
Maybe
to
define
say,
what that means.
it means you don't have, like you have
Say
outstanding
I.
fees. I have outstanding fees, and then the university is saying you cannot go back until you pay half of it. I owe around about 80,000, and I have to pay up 40,000. I don't have that kind of money, but that's fine. What I'm now saying now is,
Well, it's not fine.
Okay.
80,000 is a lot of money. The reason I ask that, when we are specific, we get specific responses to our specific challenges. But when we use a blanket approach, your issue may miss an opportunity to be addressed because popularity contest,
all right. So it is a real issue. It is a real
It
issue for me.
is, it is.
Okay, so to go back to the beginning, when we were told that the deputy was not going to be able to make it, we understand family issues. We understand that he had to go there. Our response was not towards him saying that he shouldn't care for his family, but it was like a response towards disappointment. We've been disappointed a lot of times. And I know there's a scripture in the Bible that says, when the cloud is full of rain, it should empty, it must empty, it will empty itself. So this is what was happening here. It was us venting like our disappointment, not saying that the deputy shouldn't have gone there. And then my question is like, now we're in the beginning of the year, like in fact mid-year, and then fees must fall is nowhere to be found. The government is not saying anything about what they are doing to help students who are like in financial need. And it will be up, it's not like they don't know about it, they know about it. And then, sorry, another thing is like, when is damage control? Like, I mean, like, fees must fall, the government damage control, and then. Like,
So we have Ubab Chelezi, he's going to address that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, next.
No, thank you very much. My name is Vladimir. I'm the president of Vuselela TVET College. TVET must rise, and it's very important. What do women want? That's the question I want to know, because all the men in this room are asking themselves the same question. Equally, Minister, we like the initiative.
So the question, what women want, directed to?
The same person in the panel there who was asking that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Minister, we like the entire HEH thing that you came up with, even though it's a duplicate of Dr. Harrison, which is Love Life. Minister, what is needed and when can that be available is the decorated student peer educators, because Love Life is equally having decorated impinges and decorated groundbreakers who are able to address issues that are affecting young people more effectively. You can imagine a student who is not well trained in such issues. How can thing you cannot copy properly and expect to pass whilst copying things that is wrong? Ma'am, we find it that some of our panel members there, I can tell they are from private schools, because in private school, that is where we find it that Love Life does in public, your public. So people must understand these particular things. To go to our universities and TVET sectors equally. Are not
Your bag is written, I conquered. It makes me pregnant at my teenage. And lesbians. You say in your Bible does not allow. Why Isondo is condemning them? Where must they go?
Thank you. Next.
Thank you very much.
My view is this: the psychology of the society right now is nothing close to what the cavemen used to have. I mean, psychological. No one deserves to be raped because they are wearing a miniskirt. But we should put in cognizance the fact that la madoda khoyo namhlanje ayingo la madoda bewakhona then. So the psychology is different, and maybe this is the responsibility of our government to try and strike a balance between the two, because we do not want ourselves victimized because of the choices that we make in terms of what we wear. However, we need to also understand that we can't expect them to have a psychology of a caveman, whereby Adam just saw a normal person when Eve was naked.
Thank you.
Mandidlule apho.
All right. You have another one, last one.
Two questions. To the First Lady, where do we strike a balance between this that you've talked about, the fact that we need to be empowered and also use this, we need to be empowered as ladies, but at the same time there's this culture and heritage that we do not want to lose in the house. How do we strike the balance between the two? Married in my culture, it says that indoda yiyo inhloko yomuzi, but it does not mean that it supersedes the rights of existence. How do we strike a balance between that? So the second question goes to, I think, for the whole panel. We are victimized as women and children. I've got a 14-year-old son who's asking me that you are grooming me, mama, and I'm a young man, and you guys are saying that we are trash. And that is the first statement. That is what he's seen on social media. But at the same time, how do I protect him as a young man? Because all we've focused on is the issue that not trash.
Thank you.
What are we
Thank you.
grooming? Thank you.
Thank you very much. How do we raise him not to be trashed? You are next, but thank you.
Molweni ke. Igama lami ndinguMike Amandla Tomose ndisuka eNaisna. My question is on a more, actually the iskwebo esisendambo basically. It's about so if we say it must come back okanye must be khona, doesn't it promote the mob justice in our community? If we agree that if you kill someone, because in the mob justice you get killed. The second question that I have is on the Shikonka. I love it, but what is it for me as a guy now? Because it's she conquer. Me as a guy, I don't want to be trash, or I'm not trash. But I want to support my sisters and be a voice also for my sisters. A guy in she conquer, what role can I play? What is it that I can do?
Can you start he conquer?
From Zimbabwe. Thankful for the opportunity to speak here. People who use rationale and who think. But you see, the sad thing, or the puzzling thing for me is that in a normal world, to have the excuse of not showing up to a conference as big as this, to go see a family member, so that's, like I said, I'm not here to debate the reason why our deputy president isn't here. It doesn't sit with the people here. To the leaders here, I ask you to think deeply and ponder why is the case. And I think, and what I like about the second from last speaker, what she spoke about, is the issue of being accountable and what is referred to as responsive leadership. And I think that's the big problem, that we have so long and so many times, we come to a place, a setting like this, expecting something, but are always met with false promises and false hope. So I think seriously, as leaders, and I'm happy that we cover a large group, a large area, and I think that's something we need to ask, from WHO to the World, to the World Financial.
Bank.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And everyone here from the government itself, I want you guys to ask, you leaders, to ask yourself, what are we doing to hold ourselves accountable?
Thank you.
Yes, from there,
What
I
are we
asked the
doing to
second
hold
question.
ourselves accountable?
Yes. So the second question I asked is that how then do you expect men to be held accountable for the actions and the perpetrations that we do to the women that we're doing if the men in leadership are failing to be held accountable?
Thank you.
I'm really grateful for the banana and strawberry for how you have your lesbians, you have your gay people, and they don't have condoms, and we are interested in protecting them from HIV or AIDS as well. So when are we getting...
How would you
a condom?
That I can respond to as the brand ambassador, higher education aids, that's luxury.
Yes.
Yes, that is a preference. Condoms are available. If perhaps we were talking about lubrication being made available
that's where I'm
for
going.
prevention, that is
you would need more lubricants.
Yeah.
You would need condoms for the fingers for lesbians. And you would need condom that's going to be used when you're having oral sex.
Your question,
And
next
secondly-
question.
And
Madam Speaker, too, my voice is going now. Order, order.
secondly, all institutions are not. Now, as HIV positive students, you have to go, which is then a big problem. So even if you go at the time it's far, that means you're going to miss a class. So be accredited ARV sites.
Got you. Post more is not on our side. We can't do African time at ICC.
Okay, the last question goes to victim education. I feel like we've had too much victim education. Most women are woke. It's just that we speak to walls and barriers that exist in society. As a result, the message doesn't go through. So for people like correctional services and other people that deal with them to educate perpetrators and men that exist in society.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You know, one of the biggest challenges, first you have to connect to the emotion. It becomes that thing of being an African as well, where when we tell tales, you start at Kakafontein and then uye Komga, and then you get to Durban. By the time you get to the point, your audience is lost completely. So I'm humbly requesting the rest of the guys, unfortunately, you are disadvantaged by your forebearers. Time, we only literally have 5 minutes to finish these cues from our leaders. So one question per person. When you look at your list, the most burning issue that you'd like addressed or the input that you'd like us to pay attention to, mention that. The rest take it to our website or the platforms that we have afforded. Look at that list, any, mini, mini, more. And now.
Molweni, ngunkululeko Bhengu. I'm lana is that I found sisters cutting his panel about issues about women being raped, and I fully understand. But the problem is that I feel like sister somehow buy a club and then expect these hooligans, sorry to say hooligans, but these guys about repair, about affect. So I feel like Nabo sister, they shouldn't go come a club. We don't listen, you going there in a Mali, expect
Sisters, the reason we end up raping you, you wear miniskirts and go to clubs. Next. Siyabonga Bhuti. Next.
Greetings to everyone.
Yeah.
My name is Innocent. Sibande Tivet College at Mpumalanga Province. We have got we faced.
Skip all that, but please, your question.
It comes to our students. Our students, they engage themselves to sex workers or prostitution just because of poverty. Just because NSFAS is taking so long to respond to us as a student. So please, South African government, let us assist one another to fight poverty and sex workers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Also, we're fighting sex workers as well. Are we fighting sex workers or sex work? Oh.
Bonsiwe Kuma, the Society of Ubuhle Besizwe, Unizul Society.
Oh. Can we please be quiet? Like there are side conversations, we're not hearing each other anymore. I did mention to you this is live, right? Whilst we're having these deliberations, you left your home saying, I'm going to a dialogue, yes, she conquered. So please assist Pateni. Go ahead, sis. One question.
Okay. As society in Tompinto, as the HEAs, how can you assist us in terms of our campuses? Zikoni in Tombi, but what are projects or organizations that you could do for your recognition, build self-confidence, and move on forward?
Thank you. Viva Ntombinto, viva. Yabo ma'am.
Sanbonane, all protocols observed. Igama lami nguNompumelelo Khaba.
Let's come back, please. Thank you.
Igama uNompumelelo Khaba, a law student from the University of Zululand. The concern yami is that as a young woman within an institution of higher learning, I am there on a mission, and my sole mission and many other women ukuthi secure a formal education with the hope that we will one day leave the institution and be employed, whether it be in the private or in the public sector. Now, what worries me is that in the media, print media, on TV, we are hearing a lot about the economic status of our country. We are hearing a lot about how we are a notch away from junk status and all these other things. And we are too, so we are afraid because we are seeing a lot of young women who leave the institutions with qualifications and they are unemployed and they are at home. Some leave the institution, they
So
go
what
to,
is the question,
so
ma'am,
they
back on
go
this?
and get internships, serve for a year, get a stipend, and they stay at home. Where we are prone and vulnerable to being in blessy situations. How do we address that gap?
Thank
How these qualifications do not end up just hanging on the wall for young women?
Thank you.
My name is.
I know but I'm aging, but I sending in the salgas manje. So I need people to stand, but they are sleeping. So please wake up wherever you are. I need people to stand behind the queues right now, that the people who are there now as we speak are the last ones, no more. Thank you. And this side, thank you. No one behind you, please. So let's do it like that, yes. We are back to the formula. And can we please be quiet whilst people are speaking?
My name is Mandisa Matikani. I come from Kliptown, Mandela Square in Soweto. I'm a freelancer, and I just did a documentary called Be a Voice and Not an Echo. I want to know from Sislirato, Mother of the Nation, how do I get involved in your projects? Because the documentary I just made now, it's about me and my son. I got raped and I kept the child. He's 4 years old and I'm raising him on my own. So I'm telling the story of actually what does it feel being a lesbian and having a child in the community. I want to know, how do I get involved? Because I am hashtag Be a Voice and Not an Echo.
Thank you. And we want your services so that you can document stories of young people who are triumphant. And what Mandisa talks about is that what saved her baby is when she received the baby smiled and she knew that I have to just do the right thing. And well done to you. Question, please. One question. Two.
From Buffalo City Vet College. Bengicela ukubuza pha ku-Mr. Mduduzi Manana. Bekukho i-shutdown ibikhona ngoJanuary for i-TVET colleges. And some colleges, more special the students, they were doing trimesters. Kwicala lase-SABC, lase-Mondi. Bebe affected kakhulu. Nami ndingamnye wabo. So bengicela ukubuza ke ngoku baye badelay and baphele bengaprogress and some bafailishile through in fact iziphumo ze-strikes. Then ke ngoku bekuthiwe i-SRC yethu yathi ixesha eli liwastiwe because sihleli phayana without i-textbook during that shutdown. Then ke ngoku delay and isyllabus kangasiyigqibe singabanye. Then they end up failing. Essentially, ayikho indlela ngoku to assist bona because enye into bayibethile abanye bafailisha abanye baphuma kumakhaya bayasokola and baphinda bacanakala bingekho indlela benokhalelwana nabo kwezi students zalala trimester just ke ngokubuyisa mhlawumbe noba baphinde banikwa i-chance because babhatele nami ndibhatele uyokubhala for i-rewrite subject nami ndingahamba kakuhle kuzo. Okugqibela bengicela ubuze ngoku umuntu omtsha ngoku
one question per person. Can we have your question, please? Like seriously, time is not on our side. And if you write the question down, it minimizes the stories before the question. Yabon, asebenzisane together ndiyacela bethunana.
Ubusiswa owakamkhize University of Zululand. Kufishano kwami kubhekise kumholi womdabu namakhosi. Ngicela ukubuza ukuthi amakhosi iyiphi indima ayidlalayo ekwenzeni isiqiniseko ukuthi isizwe sethu sibuyele emasisweni. Ngoba iqiniso lithi singabantu besizwe esimpisholo sinemthetho ebesiphilwa ngayo nesikhuliswe ngayo emhloniphayo nemazisayo umuntu wesifazane.
Siyabonga.
Ukuthi khona inkosi nenkosikazi kusho ukuthi besikwazi ubu-relevance bobuntu besifazane. Umkhandlu womdabu and tribal leadership anisibuyiselene emuva niyosiqeqesha ngobuthina nobuntu bethu neqiniso lobuntu bethu.
Kuzwakele. Next.
Sanibonani, igama lami ngu-Anele ngwakamsomi, ngiqhamuka eThekwini TVET College. Mina owami umbuzo ubest lapha ku-DHET. Mina into engifuna ukuyibuza ukuthi kuthiwa uNSFAS kuyimanje uJune manje awakasiphenduli. And into abasitshela yona
Next.
Why is the Minister of Duty is the
Right now on trial. We agree that one question per person. There are people behind you. I'm not.
So when is
suppressing
the
you.
youth going to speak again? Next year in another
No,
conference?
no, we have
You call
breakaway
us here
sessions.
and you do not
No,
listen to
no,
our
no,
issues.
no.
You make us voiceless and
No,
intimidate
no,
us.
no,
It can't be true.
No,
I was not done. Can I speak? Please.
Do not do that. Do not do that. Do not do that.
I am
Do
angry
not
because I'm
do
a young
that.
person and we're always suppressed. You
Do
call
not
us
do
to
that.
come and say our views, but you suppress us. How is that
We
supposed
have
to make
agreed.
us feel?
You see, students are given an opportunity to ask one question. After lunch, you are going to satellite sessions. You have an opportunity there to raise these questions. Many of the leaders will be part of those sessions and they will respond to all the questions. Please,
Can I finish now?
ask your one question.
Thank you. It is not enough to gather here in our fancy outfits and fancy English, not making any real change. We live in fear and we're gathering, isolating the real people in the course of action.
Thank you. Proceed.
Right, we are next.
Good day to everyone. My name is Pumelele Noktula Ndlovu. I'm from BB Coastal College. I'd like to greet
Can we be quiet,
everyone
please?
inside here, and can you please give me silence? Firstly, I would like to thank Minister of Education. Yes, we don't get NSFAS on time, but we are on school because of you. We thank you very much for your support.
And your question?
My one question is, why would I study 3 years for a diploma, and when I want to I have to add 2 years because I studied at Coastal College? That is one of the things that affects us all because they undermine the Coastal College students.
Got you. Next one.
Ngiyabonga. Igama lami ngumnqobi Prince wakamsezane. Ngifunda e-UKZN, e-Edgewood campus, which is indeed the mother of all professions, education. Now, it's an unfortunate part that slimitwa isikhathi ngoba ngabe sikhuluma into engapheli. Ibhlungu lento yokuthi abantu abahleli ngaphambili asilitholi ithuba loku-engage kahle ngenxa yesikhathi. So I'm going to have one question.
Yeah.
Izinto ezenzekalayo in our community zinabantu abadila nazo directly, and we have people abahleli kosofa ngaphambili izinto abayibuka behleli phambili. Can we have abantu abazo interacta nathi on the ground, because we are the ones esibona osisi bethu bedayisa life etown. We are the ones. Abantu abahleli lapha baphuza amanzi. We are the ones thina sihamba la sibabona osisi bethu. We are the ones.
Siyabonga. Thank you.
No, angaqedi swami. Angaqedi isikhathi. Can we have interaction directly? If it's directly, I have to speak directly to deputy minister or minister directly.
Okay.
Ngoba we are the ones who face the challenges. We are the ones esibona izinto zenzeka on the ground level, and bona bahleli lapha engaging bedla amakhekhe.
Thank you. Next question. Guys, the meeting is now taking a different turn altogether. The meeting is now taking a different turn. You are going to force us not to take the rest of the questions because we have limited time to hear our questions, right? So that we can break our way into sessions and know what are the burning issues. But manje mase siyenza about amakhekhe sesiyayideviate manje. Right? Akuma keke lan. Next one.
Thank you, Chair of the session.
Yeah.
My name is Bundu Mnyaka from Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in Port Elizabeth. My question is very simple. It's more of a comment per se. It focuses on entrepreneurial development. I think if we ought to focus more on partnerships between universities and the private sector directly. Because what we see is that the top-down approach in terms of entrepreneurial development is not really working. So I'd like to suggest that we should create more of an inclusive nature, because as the NDP says itself, that the way to drive economic growth is through small businesses. So the better way to do that, in my understanding, is that we have to use universities as well as technicons in order to advance that. So I'd like to add Treasury, Department of Education, and the private sector as well to find a way with the various universities to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Igama lami nguNjabulo Ngwantombela UKZN. Okwami ubhuti okuningi usekavile, but basically ngifuna nje ukukhuluma nabaholi abaphambili bonke ukuthi besicela ukuthi besixhase ngezo cash. Uma kwenziwa imali yaphuma, abantu babekhankasa imali yaphuma, umuntu uzafika zonokhasha door to door ngoba ufuna umvotela. But masasila and sorry, program director, please, with all due respect, you are suffocating us.
It's time, it's not me. It's Siva again, right? We're stopping. Can we continue then? Do we agree that we'll take one question? Because I'm in one question per person. Right? Thank you. Your question.
My name is Oladele Falade, a student of TUT in Madeleine campus. My question goes thus: how can we reach those who don't have access to education while we are gathered here? Thank you.
Thank you. Did we hear the question? Because we're loud, can we have the question again, please? And that takes away another 2 minutes.
How can we reach those male and female rapists who don't have access to education while we are all gathered here? Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings to the House at large, and thanks to the Palkajurinas Program Director. My question is directed to the Honorable Deputy Minister and the government officials. Looking at the 27.7 unemployment rate, I want to know what is it that actually, I know that the government is trying to create jobs in order to alleviate that, but because of nepotism and the people who are in charge of allocating the jobs wanting something special in order for you to get the jobs, whether you are qualified or not. What is it that the government is doing to make sure that the progress has been audited for allocating those jobs? If funds are a problem in this country, looking at our economical status, can we at least make radical changes in this country for the best interest of the students, even though it means that we will have to come to a point where we reduce the government officials' incentives just for a black child or a white child in this country? Thank you very much.
Got you. Can we release your salaries, reduce your salaries as our leaders to access more money? Yes.
Okay, thank you everyone. My name is Fikiles Tola. I'm a second-year Bachelor of Education student at the 4 years old Salt Lake University, and I'm only 19 years old, so please allow me to construct my knowledge. I'm not here to ask a question, but actually to come with strategies on how can we approach these issues we are facing now. So as an educator, I'm gonna try to reason via support and not be medical, because I see right now we are very much problem-centered and not coming with solutions. So the first strategy I think we can look at is the contextual factors that lead to these things happening around our institutions. People from Kimberley, and the residence which I live at is right next door to a TVET college residence. There are people living there, but there are residents. You can see the facilities are abandoned, and those things really affect them intrinsically in order for them not to do well in their books. So the contextual factors of our TVET college and our university should also be looked at. Those are the things which can lead to our students not being academically good.
Thank you. No, one, please.
Okay,
the rest, we welcome them on our website. We humbly request. Okay?
Greetings to the House at large. Standing in front of you is Lungisile Gyasi from Wusu, Eastern Cape. I'm a peer educator. As a peer educator, I'm proud that Dr. Ramnek confirmed that since peers joined this journey, there's a difference. Now I wanna ask a favor. Can we please be supported in everything that we want? Please. Thank you.
Okay. You are next, yes.
Greetings to everyone in the house. I am Linda Lombaga from the University of Fort Hare, Alice Campus. I have a question and a suggestion. My question goes to...
Which one is important to you? I only can take one.
It's the question.
Thank you.
Okay. It goes to the Deputy Minister. Can you please, guys, when you are looking to the NSFAS fee cap, consider the tuition fees? Because you find out that, okay, you're saying that your fee cap is 71,000. And then I have, my accommodation and tuition will be like 65,000. And then I will be swiping 400 a month for my toiletries, for my food. And then that leads me to find a blesser to support me. So we cannot end this thing of transactional relationships because we are not supported by the government. Thank you.
That's sad. Yes.
Sanibonani endlini. Igama uConsilia, I'm from MUT. Umbuzo wami ubhekise with the presidency of South Africa. Why is it as South Africa as a nation are we so vulnerable? Like everything that happens in South Africa, like any other people, they see an opportunity to come and commit a crime in South Africa. Specifically to this thing enzakalayo currently of kidnapping. We have never had any other African countries having such a problem. But then South Africa as a nation is so vulnerable that each and every criminal comes here.
Thank you.
Sanibonani, igama uFaith Sibongo Sibiya. I'm from the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, and I'm also a third-year student in education. I believe that if we seek to solve the problems, we also need to consider the curriculum, because one of the problems that come out is because the things that the curriculum ought to do, we do not get there. So if we speak on the issue of trying to come with solutions to solve the whole issue of AIDS spreading and the HIV and everything, let us also look at the content in which we teach our kids. If we teach our kids about sex education, that's going to equip them with skills of trying to the ways in which the AIDS and the HIV spread. So if we really look into that and stop solving South African problems with European content, let us decolonize.
Loud and clear. Yes, sir.
Sanmonani igama lami nguSifiso ngwakamthethwa osuka eBay usebenzela enseleni swakwa Love Life. Okay ke ubhuti wami ubamba inkunzi ukuthola umusu uthi uyathola ubhuti wami ubezoba umrapper. Usisi wami uyistrip umuthi uyabheka usisi wami ubezoba imodel. Mina umbuzo wami uthi thina as ama leaders sizosukuma nini la ehleli khona sihambe siye le phansi sifike sigqugquzele okanye sikhuthaze laba banama talent sibathathe sibase phezulu.
Got you. Thank you. Are you ready?
Good morning. My name is Maletabo Sidibe. I'm from the University of Venda. I would like to ask a question that what is the Department of Higher Education and Training willing to do for LGBTI students involved in every program within the universities? And we also ask for implementation of the LGBTI strategies to be implemented, and also mentoring, monitoring progress, because some staff members are resistant to change and we in turn suffer. Thank you.
Next.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is DJ. I'm going to be short as my height. To Dr. Ramnik, Dr. Pillay, Comrade Manana, mine is simple. When is PrEP going to be issued or given in our institutions?
Got you. Next.
Good morning, everyone.
Those who don't know what PrEP is, it is pre-exposure prophylaxis or post-exposure prophylaxis.
Yes, I am Neo Ngomani from Tivet College in Northwest. My question basically is that what is being done to lower the high domestic violence in South Africa when the SAPS does not assist us in time when we are reporting it? Thank you.
Thanks.
Morning, everyone. My name is Jonathan Brady. I'm a master's student at UKZN in Population Studies. Kudos to Dr. Ramnik and everyone at HE/AIDS for bringing us all together, including the Ministerial portfolio. It's really impressive to see everyone gathered here like this. My question is directed to both the Deputy Minister and to the entire Ministerial portfolio. I think the omission of Minister Angie Motshekga is a bit telling. My question would be, is the feasibility of the creation of a sister body under the auspice of the Department of Basic Education a bit far-fetched? Maybe it could work in tandem with HE/AIDS, because as we are all gathered here, we are facing the apex of the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Could we not redirect our focus towards the Department of Basic Education and kids in our schools?
Thank you. Go ahead,
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tsepo Tsita. I'm from the #1 leading TVET college in Northwest, Obi TVET College. My question is to the Deputy Minister of Higher Education. Minister, what programs or interventions has the Office of the Minister of Higher Education and Training has put in place to make universities and companies to recognize the qualification from TVET sector? Because some students who complete their level 4s, they struggle to get admission in universities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, ladies. My name is Muko Patrick, all the way from Limpopo. My question is, what is the government going to do about this thing of pastors who claim to heal HIV and AIDS? Because people are believing that they are healed, and whereas they are not. So what is the government going to do about it?
Thank you. What do we do with snake pastors?
Okay, thank you. My name is Emmanuel from Kangala. I'm a graduate from University
Louder,
of
we can't hear you.
Okay. My name is Emmanuel from Kangala TVET College. I'm a graduate from University of Fort Hare as well. So the thing that I noticed is that when I go to the college, there's a gap between universities and colleges in terms of student support unit or services, because the services that, the challenges that we are talking about today, they are being catered for at the universities, but when you come to the college level, they are not catered for. There are psychologists, there are social workers at the universities, which we don't have in colleges. So I want to know, what is the Department of Education doing to cover those gaps
Thank you.
between
Thank you very much.
universities?
Sir.
Thank you very much, Mme Crisilda. My name is Mlamuli Mulife from Umzinyati District in Mutu. I'm the learner support agent under Special Needs Education Services. On behalf of basic education, I concur with those who are saying we must deal with the problem in basic education, normal in high schools. There is a program which is called Integrated Program, of which I believe it is not fully implemented. That program is consisted of social development, health, and education. If we can implement fully that program, I believe that it will bear the fruits that we need. In these programs, we are being able to deal with societal issues. We are being able to deal with the problems that includes even girl child. Angisamboni kusihlalo.
I'm a woman, I multitask. Pen.
Oh, thank you very
We
much.
said
Madam.
one.
Ngisaseyodwa, ngisaqhubeka sihlalo.
How? He's speechless.
It's very important, this one.
Okay. To the point.
Chairperson, I am lobbying all the departments to fully support the implementation of this program in basic education. Thank you very much.
Amen. Yeah, ma'am.
Greetings to the House at large. I'm Nomtanda Zovilane from University of Mpumalanga. I'm standing as a peer educator. Therefore, I have a pleading to the panel up there that may they work together to support us as the developing institutions, both the University of Mpumalanga and the new university in Northwest. I thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lochani. My
Locha.
name is Spatalala. I'm from Activate, representing Dlelehle Youth Club in Kwakafontein, Mpumalanga. To Umam Tobega Zuma. Ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi is your Tobega Madiba Zuma Foundation operating nationally or in the certain areas of the country? And if so, then how does one get to take your programs to other parts of the country that are facing similar challenges to the areas such as Kwamashu and Nduzama? Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're next.
Molweni, igama ngubama Nyesaki. I'm from Rhodes University. Mine is just to talk about the issue of blesser and blessee. Transactional relationships are not a new thing. Sugar daddies and sugar fathers happened a long time ago. So can we, instead of judging those in these relationships, create safe spaces where they can feel like, if I'm in these transactional relationships, I can go back and I won't be judged and I will be empowered as a woman. Thank you.
Thank you. Sesizanga.
Thanks, Chairperson. My name is Thembalihle Shusha. I come from the highly undermined and underfunded sector, which is the TVET sector.
Your minute is ending, Putwam.
Chairperson, I will play with you. It is very rare for us to
Teta,
interact with these people.
One question.
Can you allow us?
I'm allowing one.
Leadership. Now, Chairperson, before we get to the gist of the matter, we must not take away NSFAS. We must align this high rate of HIV infections within higher institutions of learning with the incompetency of NSFAS failing to implement policies that they formulate. Now, Chairperson, mine is that firstly, you are saying there's funding for such programs, but we are not benefiting anything. Where is it going? Chairperson, as TVETs, we do not have infrastructure. Secondly, we undermine to an extent that when you categorize us with universities, universities have campus-based clinics. You go to TVETs.
Thank you.
You go to TVETs, you will never find that. We plead to the Deputy Minister, to rise, that it is a plea leadership. When you were collaborated with the current minister, for you are young and you understand our issues. And we still stand firm on the call that yourself have made of free, quality and compulsory education in our lifetime.
Thank you. Next.
As I land, Chairperson, as I land, Chairperson.
Can we go this side?
I plead. Thank you. Leadership, mine is that, Deputy Minister, can you please fast track the issue of TVET colleges having a budget for infrastructural development so that we'll have campus-based clinics? I thank you.
You next. Abelumbati tautology. Same issue like 5 times. Thank you, noted.
Sanbonani, Uphumelele Wakalinda from Elangeni TVET College. From Kuma TVET, ubhuti-ke usekukhavile lokhu kwama health centers. So mina ngicela ukuproposa lapho kubaba uManana that thina as TVET colleges we plead that i-curriculum ibe more improved such that uma ngabe siyofuna umsebenzi baba siyakhona ukuthi sibe recognized ngoba ithi into ukuhlonyiswa kwabasha ngizomhlomisa kanjani omunye umuntu omusha uma ngabe mina sengihlele ekhaya sengitholile umntwana noma ngahamba ngayosebenzela omunye umuntu ngibe mina ngiqualified ukuthi ngiyosebenza kwenye indawo siyacela baba. Okwesibili ngicela usilungisele indaba yama-pending results siyacela into esihlalisa kakhulu emakhaya ama-results wethu awafiki ngesikhathi siyacela.
Ama-results wethu awafiki ngesikhathi asikwazi uku-aplya singakatholi ama-results.
Ngithanda ukubingelela kakhulu igama lami nguSuku akaSinyali from Soul City. First lady ukhulume about i-organization. So mina ngicela ukwazi ukuthi as it is an organization and it is based ebantwini abasha ne. So ngicela ukubuza ukuthi yini eniyenzayo ukuthi nenze show ukuthi abantu abasha bayafika like thina abantu abasha into eyenza ukuthi sibe nogqozi lokuya lapho ama sports, music, ama drama. If ningazama ukuthi nenze ukuthi thina siveza ama talent, I'm sure i-HIV and AIDS inga decrease because the more siya lapha siyela mhlambe ama sports or mhlambe music it's where sothola nathi information ngiyabonga.
Thank you. Can we have recreation as young people?
Sanbonani, my name is Patience Kaula. I'm from Southwest Gauteng College in Joburg. And then I've got a suggestion, Mina. It's not a question. Well, it's for He-AIDS Council. They have managed to recognize the need for empowering young women, people, in order for them to go back to colleges, universities, and school to educate other peers about the importance of preventing the contraction of different diseases. With all that said, can they at least empower peer educators first by teaching them about our bodies as men and women in relation to our male and female reproductive system? Because we cannot be teaching our peers about something that we do not know ourselves. Youth empowerment is important because it is easier for our youth to talk to us about different issues that concerns us all. Thank you.
And also the ability to refer, I'm sure, because there might be issues that you can't deal with but refer to professionals. Yebo baba.
Greetings to the House of Large. My name is Percy Mtetwa from DUT Midlands campus, doing third year B.Ed. I am a peer educator, and as a peer educator, I discovered a female full-time student living in a flat, but looking after a baby in return for a place to sleep and food. Now get affected academically, and I decide to intervene as a peer educator, get her a place to stay, get her some food, some academic issues. Then the lecturer will say to me, the story is cooked because she came to me, a male peer educator. Why did she not go to someone who is female? Now, my question to the vice chancellors is, what are they doing in ensuring the recognition of the existence or the presence of peer educators and their duties on campus to the staff at large, especially the lecturers? Because if I'm a peer educator, SRC member.
Thank you. Greetings to all. This is Wendy Dalana from Southwest Gauteng College in Joburg. I also have a suggestion to Deputy Minister. Can we please be accommodated at the TVET sector? Can there be more practicals and work exposure at TVET than what it is currently? The department invests in resources in our colleges. TVETs will rise.
I believe you.
Greetings to everyone. Thank you, Program Director. My name is Geraldine Williams, and I am a Zazi ambassador. As a Zazi ambassador, I've been exposed to situations where parents are well aware of their children being exposed to abuse, and are actually aware of their children dating older men for money purposes, and actually supported because of poverty. To the Deputy Minister, how do we then make sure that parents, through education and enough awareness, know of the dangers they put their children through to ensure that a girl child is protected? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am now going to request that our leaders respond. Do remember and recognize that if your specific particular question, comment is not addressed, it's not ignored. There will be other platforms where things will unfold and you will know that, aha, that was my point being addressed. I'd like to first start with the Deputy Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Ray John Jeffries, to come and give us his response.
Thanks very much, and good afternoon, everybody. It's just gone afternoon. There were a couple of questions really about crime. Firstly, I think starting from the back, the issue of domestic violence, complaints about the police. Look, if you have problems of domestic violence, you can get a domestic and you'd get that from a magistrate's court. So I don't know if you've looked at that. There is quite a lot of information on the Department of Justice website, www.doj.gov.za. So please have a look at that. If there are problems with the police, please report that to us as well. The issue of criminals, that abduction crimes only happen here, kidnapping, that's not true. I think it's more prevalent in Mozambique. It's happening in many other parts of the continent. The issue of hate crimes and the killing of lesbians, we are busy with a hate crimes bill, which will be going to Parliament soon. But we are already trying to monitor and ensure that cases involving LGBTI people as task team on LGBTI issues, which the department co-hosts with civil society and other government bodies. And there's also a specific rapid response team to monitor those crimes. So I'd want sort of more specific detail if the person can see me afterwards. Then there was the issue of criminals getting bail. A person is innocent until If you were charged with a crime, you would want that to be the case. Somebody can be accused of rape, but they may not have raped the person. It may be the wrong person, you might have got the wrong identity, or there may have been consent. So it is up to the state in a case to prove that the accused is guilty. It is more difficult to get bail in a serious case such as rape, such as murder. In the minor cases, the state has to prove why you shouldn't get bail. In the more serious cases, it's up to the accused to show why they should get bail, so it should be more difficult. Then, quite a few questions on the death penalty. We used to have the death penalty and before democracy, and we were the hanging capital just about of the world. We then had a new constitution. It has a provision for the right to life. Everyone has the right to life. The Constitutional Court, in its first case, to life in our Constitution meant that there couldn't be a death penalty, and they found that it did. And you should really read that judgment. There's no evidence that killing people, killing criminals, people who've been found guilty of crime is a deterrent, that it puts off people from committing crimes. And then you've also got the problem a person has been convicted. If you've executed it, then that's it. So I think it's a bigger debate that needs to be had. It's obviously a very emotional issue, and I sensed from the people that were supporting the return of the death penalty quite a bit of emotion. I think we need to look at fora for engaging on that issue in the different education sectors in particular. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. I'd like to now call upon Deputy Minister of Finance, Wabuthelezi.
Thank you, Program Director. Sanbonan, Molweni, Abshen. A few comments. Thank you very much for the comments that you have made. We have been listening to you, and obviously we can't give you all the answers now, but it's a neva. Okay, I think that's one. Program Director, organizers of this gathering, I think the only comment that I'll make before I come to the questions, I'm not hip about the demographics of this audience. The problems that we are dealing here are not the black child's problem. These are the South African problems. I don't know why it's like this. HIV and AIDS issue is not about a black child. It's a South African problem again. I just thought, let me start on those things. I've got about 25 nieces and daughters of your age. 25. Ranging from around 15 to about 35. So the problems that you are raising here, they affect us as parents, not just as ministers or deputy ministers. I get worried when my daughter leaves in the morning because I'm not very sure when is she going to come back, whether she's going to be raped and so on. So don't think that you are talking to strangers. You are talking to your fathers, you are talking to your uncles, you are talking to your brothers. We understand what you are saying. So, your plight is our plight, and we don't have all the problems. That's why I'm saying that we are listening to you so that we can try and come with some solutions to the problems which are facing our country. The problems that we are facing are not going to be solved in one day, and they're not going, all of them, to be solved. But let's be seen to be moving in the same direction. But people talk about tenders, that when you do business for government, and there's a young, beautiful girl, Njengan Jobanila, you find yourself being asked many things. I've heard that before. People will say, Tina Baba, as young girls, but we're expected to pay money, but for you to put on the database, you hear this blesser saying, can I meet you for dinner? And then you meet this guy for dinner to put on the database, not to get work. Then you meet him for dinner. When you meet him for dinner, they say that they don't even sugarcoat these things that ngiyakuthanda or whatever. It goes straight. What are you going to give me? You say, no, I'm going to bribe you. They say, no, the bribe is not enough. They want more than they must go and sleep with you, right? So let's say you pay in whatever way, in whatever form. Then you are now in the database. They expect you to get work. That again, you must go through the same route. It's a different person. Then you have now work. Your invoice is lying somewhere, is not being paid. You say, again, another Baba saying, can I meet you for dinner? And when he meets you for dinner, he still wants the same thing. Zitle zingane mayikhuluma nami zithi singaphela phela ngoba you are talking about one tender. You have a potential of having slept with 3 people, and that obviously it also contributes to AIDS, let alone that it impacts on business with the state, which is your constitutional right. So I'm then saying, amongst other things that I think you need to do, when that happens, please don't condone it. You have got cell phones, you have got all these things. When somebody comes and asks you that, tape, record him, right? That's one. But 2, write to the head of department, write to the MEC, write to the deputy minister, write to the minister, and say, I was in your department, and so did this and this and this. Don't end just by writing to me once. You wait, perhaps give myself a week, and go back and say, MEC, Deputy Minister, HOD, I wrote to you about this matter. What are you doing? Because by not reporting these things, there is no way these ministers and MECs are going to know what happens in the corners. So we must expose those people who do that, because if you don't do it, we are complicit to the crime. And I think once we get those people, it's also very important that we should name and shame them. We name and shame them so that we make sure that we flush them out of the public service. They are not fit to save our people. So because once that happens, it means we must prove that there's guilt, there's corruption, and we must make sure that we flush them out of our system. If we don't do that, they'll continue doing it because we'll be condoning that. Let me touch on one very emotional issue which I hear coming out of here around NSFAS. I think one very important thing is that let's accept that throwing money into the problem doesn't solve problems, right? For instance, if you look at 2016, Comrade Ndu, I think NSFAS had about 41.2 billion rand, and then now 2017 is around 54 billion rand, am I correct? Somewhere around that. Ne? And that just shows that NSFAS money has grown at an exponential rate, because we understand that there is not a single child who must be excluded from education because of his background, that his parents or her parents can't play. But definitely, there are issues around it. I think we need to put that things. For instance, if now we're in June, right? People haven't received NSFAS. It means you have not been able to pay. We have been excluded. I've heard the president saying not a single child should be excluded and should be barred from education because she or he pay. And I hear that there are people who have been excluded. I don't know what's happening. I'm sure Comrade Du will talk to that. But I was just saying that from the fiscal side, from the National Treasury side, we're trying to meet you halfway and make sure that people who can't afford education, to pay for education, the state does that. Let me hasten to say, so that we are able to stretch the rent, I still want to continue paying for my children who go to the university, so that there should be money left for children who can't afford. I don't think it's correct for me being able to pay for my call for free education for them. I must pay for them. So there are many of those parents who must continue, who must decide to pay for their children rather than buying for a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz. That's what our parents did, right? I wanted to do that. But for those children who come from communities, who come from families who can't afford it, it would be wrong for us as South Africans and as a state not to pay for them. And that commitment, you are having it from us. About people who get education and not get employed and so on, it's a function of a number of things. But let me start by saying, we also need to change the mindset. When you go to school, don't say, I want to be employed. I think that's very important. When you go to school, you say, I want to acquire a certain skill, which you can use in many different ways, amongst others, to start your own small business. Don't think when you're starting a small business, you must start with a business of millions of rands, right? A business is when today you have got 1,000 rand, you invest it somewhere, and then you have got rand the following day. Then you are able to grow the business. So number one, don't look at you being employed. You may even look at yourself as being an employer in your community. You look at what that community where you come from needs. Then you are going to be able to say, I'm going to look to attend to the need of my community. But if you want to be employed, which is a right, you must look at what the economy, type of skills that the economy needs, right? If you are in your mind, say you want to be employed. So when you get educated, say what type of an education the economy needs. Then try to match your skills, your education with what the economy needs. I think with those few words, I just want to say, be rest assured that as your parents, first and foremost, before we are ministers and the plight, your plight, we understand. We are our partners. Let's walk this walk together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Buttigieg. I'd like to now call upon Deputy Minister of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Obed Mapela, followed by Dr. Dlomo from MEC of Health in KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you, Program Director, and good morning, delegates from the youth organizations throughout the country. As protocol observed, I do so. There were two issues that were raised around the issues of culture and patriarchy. And I will then say that when it comes to culture, we just want to say to South Africans, in particular the Africans, the indigenous communities of South Africa, culture is your pride, and we need to demonstrate it, promote it, and preserve it. However, there are quite a number of cultural practices, some of them punctuated by yourselves, which you say they need to adapt, and we fully agree with you. Last week at the Indaba of the traditional leaders in Johannesburg, for 5 days, they've identified some of those cultural practices, ukungenwa, ukuthwalwa, early child arranged marriages, and others, that they need to be a group of cultures that society must get rid of and be done away with. And we are going to be forming a panel of experts that are going to be even identifying others, because this one were just a few examples of such cultures that are in conflict with the Constitution, who are also in conflict with the Bill of Rights, and those cultures done away because they were useful probably yearly years of our human existence, but they are no longer as one other issue which was made as an example, polygamy and then others, those are choices. They are not bad. So if you choose, and it's your right to choose, then those who have chosen it must be protected, because even the Constitution protects such culture. So we cannot therefore say we must get rid of them once off, because it's a choice. Particularly ukuzila also is a choice. For women, obviously, what they are raising is that why women bazila for 12 months, yet ubaba uzila only for 3 months. And those are the issues that we must discuss and say, if niyazila, magube equal terms. If it's 3 months, it's 3 months. If it's 12 months, nagubaba magube 12 months. But then it's the right and it's the choice of individuals and then people who still believe in their cultures. But then also we want to say therefore that once those panel of experts have come up with issues that then society must get rid of, we will then be advocating that these issues must be banned from South African practices as cultural. But those cultural values that build society must be retained, promoted, preserved, and then be exercised so that we could then build social cohesion, build a nation that is proud of their own cultures. Please, Africans in particular, do cultures because they make and shape who you are. All other national groups, whether it's Portuguese, the Italians, the Greeks, they have weeks of practicing their own cultures, which include the promotion of their languages, their food, their music, their dance, their clothes, and therefore, why not us in our own country? Can we not do so? And the last issue that was also raised around the acceptance of the LGBTIs. We did discuss it with the traditional leaders that society has evolved, society is developing. There are things that are happening in society that we need. They are agreeing, obviously, to now begin to respect the rights of the LGBTIs, and they will be educated, trained, so that they can understand this phenomena, because most of them live in the most remotest of the areas, in the rural areas, and they need to be educated and then be brought into space so that all of us can then respect all South Africans for who they are. And the last one is the issue of the restorations of the African values. They will be launching a campaign that will be contributing to the social behavior, social cohesion, called the Restorations of the African Values. Ubuntu botho. Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, muthu ke muthu ka batho ba bang. You are because I am, and I am because you are. And that will be the champion program by the traditional leaders throughout the country, when they will be crossing over and then coming to communities to say, Ubuntu is manners, Ubuntu is respect, Ubuntu is to accept others, whoever they are, rich and poor. Then let's then begin to bring Ubuntu sense and as a philosophy and as a way of life within the Africans. Thank you very much. I think those were the programs.
Thank you very much, Program Director. One, will just respond to 3 of the issues raised, but just to start is to amplify the point that was raised by Deputy Minister Buthelezi. We were also confronted with a situation like that in the province. One person, a South African, calls and says, I've been promised a job, but they asked me to bring money. I said, really? Which hospital? And they indicated. I said, okay, come, let me give you money, go to that hospital and pay. As soon as that person paid the money, we were able to make an arrest. So really, what Deputy Minister Buthelezi is saying, please do get to us, because we can never get rid of the corruption if we are not going to be actually working on those processes. The universities do have clinics, and I'm aware some of them are asking for us to support them and have one more or other nurses. There's a speaker who comes there from, I think, one of the TVETs says we do not have any of such facilities in the TVETs. Yes, we are aware. That's why in this province we tried and supported and piloted a program where we were sending a mobile clinic into a TVET, into some TVET colleges. We stopped that process because there were some glitches in there. So we try to really work with the mobilizers of HE8. I understand now they've come to work with us so that we could know this day you go to this college, because if you send a mobile there and it sees only 2 students the whole day long, then that mobile could have been used elsewhere. So we really need to actually work on that process. While we do understand there's no infrastructure yet in TVETs, but we want to give and bring the programs of clinic support to those TVETs. The second part, there is a program when we were small, yes, it was there in the whole country, school health nurses, where we would send a nurse to a primary school. We have now restarted that program nationally, and it's probably not there all over the country, but we have focused mainly in those districts that are catering for quintile 1, 2, and probably 3 schools, where we are sending school nurses to go and examine children at the primary school. They look for dental caries, and they do find children. In fact, the minister was in the SAFM these programs where children with dental caries, children who have problems of hearing, children who have got problems of eyesight, we assist them. Yes, it is still a problem, how much of sex education do we introduce to primary schools? We need to do that in conjunction with the school governing bodies, with the parents and everywhere. So there is still a challenge. Here and there, we are seeing certain programs that are focusing on those issues, but the school health nurses are actually going out the whole country, starting with the most disadvantaged districts and schools. The last one to raise is the issue, we're delighted as KwaZulu-Natal that we brought to a MINMEC. MINMEC is where with MECs, a program that we initiated here in KwaZulu-Natal, which now I'm very delighted is going to go out the whole country, where young people were educating us. Dr. Zlomo, I am pregnant today because I went in one of your clinics last year and I asked for family planning programs, and they told me, go and call your priest, go and call your mother, go and call your bishop. And who of us will go and tell the bishop, I'm now having a boyfriend? So and we have begun to change our attitudes. We then had programs to say, can we make our clinics youth user-friendly? And we do have that program around 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we're expecting young people to come from schools, and they go to most or all our clinics and they get a nurse or a person who has got a changed mind to assist them through their programs related to family planning. Right now, that program is going to be rolled out in the whole country because we now know it works. Children would come, young girls will now come to the clinic and find a nurse to educate, talk to them, ventilate whatever problems they have regarding their sexuality, and that is really assisting us in a great detail. And I'm delighted to indicate that, of course, good things come in KwaZulu-Natal and they go nationally.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dom. Earlier on, when we were trying to manage this program, some of you looked at me as the witches of the witches. But now you are tired, you are hungry, right? Reality of time is striking. We are 3 speakers away from lunch, so please bear with us. I'd like to call upon now Inkosi yethu uBaba Zungu azositshela about traditional programs that are available. Umama Zungu. Or Umam Dube representing Inkosi. Is that how it is? Umam Dube uyena Inkosi. Gimbathe nje Zungu kuphela. Ngiyaxolisa ngaloko Nkosi yami. To come and help us that from the chair of the National House of Traditions, our programs are team. Nkosi.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Greetings to the ministers, deputy ministers, all protocol observed, and the House at large. First of all, I would like to rectify, I am Inkosi Dube from KZN, who is representing the Provincial House in the National House of Traditional Leaders. And I'm not the chairperson, I'm just a member in the National House. In the questions raised here, I would like to say, in these traditional leadership institutions, there were stereotypes that have been removed. We all know that traditional leadership is a male-dominated institution. It was only for the males, but the stereotypes have been removed because there are women there. There are even girls who are not yet married, who are princesses, but who have taken over traditional leadership. I'm saying this because there is one who said culture needs to be modernized. We can't do that. We can't modernize culture. Culture is dynamic. And through this culture, we are engaging in social cohesion as traditional leaders because we actually want to combat the social ills that are attacking our generation in our communities. We are actually looking forward to instilling values and Ubuntu to our young generation. It's very important that you stick to your culture because it assists you to know who you are and where you come from. And one needs to be proud of his or her own culture. Last week, Amakosi or traditional leaders were gathered in Balito, that is KZN and some traditional in Cape, whereby they were being trained on gender-based violence, child protection, and HIV and AIDS. And I really want to address a question which was referring to the LGBTs. So we discussed that issue a lot, and we as traditional leaders, we are trying to change the minds of all the traditional leaders. I know the institution was just taken as an old school of thought, but then as time goes by, we are also trying to make some changes in the institution. One asked about the role of traditional leaders. Those are the roles of traditional leaders that we are doing in our communities, and even to look to the welfare of our communities. Somebody also referred to Lobola. I'm happy that our Deputy Minister here has just mentioned it, that Lobola traditional leaders do not form part of the negotiations in Lobola. That is the issue which is in between the two families. So they decide on their own how they are going to exchange the gifts before marriage. The traditional leaders do not form any part to that. And we are also addressing the issue of child protection, more especially the girls in our communities, that we need to be hands-on and to be the first ones where they will be able to report their issues of violence so that we take issues forward. I'm so pleased to be part of this workshop, and I'll be taking the issues to the National House also to address some of them. I thank you.
So many issues have been raised, and it's very difficult to just congest them all in a few minutes that we are allocated. We also had a lot of questions relating to LGBTI communities, and would like to now call upon Ms. Steve Litseke to just come and give us input. And immediately after that, we call upon our First Lady to give her input.
Halala, young people, halala. We still want to see that energy, right? I had a couple of questions around prevention methods, around female-male condoms. We need gay condoms. There's no gay condoms, people. Let's try to clarify some of these things. Yes, there are other methods that are used, but gay men, lesbian women still uses the very same condoms that we have. The other options that are there includes what we call dental dam and finger condoms. Unfortunately, our government does not necessarily provide female condoms and dental dams. I'm excited, Dr. Jorgen Pile, who's here, Department of Health and SANEC partners, will be launching On the 14th of June, please do come again at ICC. We'll be launching the first in the world LGBTI HIV plan. So this is exciting time for the country because there are packages that we're putting out there. So do join us. But I want to also put a challenge. Deputy Minister Manana, we've got creative minds in the house. And you know, LGBTI people, when you engage, people speak about how some of these things are not friendly, whether you're talking Max and so forth. Let's be creative as young people. Come with innovative prevention methods. Let's see if we are creative because we want to bring it home. So we're putting this challenge out. Let's see what we can put forward. The second thing is around understanding human sexuality. And I hear people talk, we're talking about LGBTIs and so forth. It's a diversity of people. Let's understand human sexuality because when you say LGBTI, end it with person or people, right? Because it's a consortium or collective of people. The last point, I wanted to address the issue around 1 in 9, now 1 in 3. Those are two separate issues. What 1 in 9 is a research that was saying out of 9 women in South Africa, 1 gets to report a case, a rape case. So it's not that out of 9 women, 1 woman gets raped, no. Out of 9 cases, out of 9 women who gets raped, 1 gets to report a case. And the 1 in 3 concept is that out of 3 young women, 1 gets raped by the time they are 21 years old. So those are 2 separate researchers that came in South Africa. The last point, South African National AIDS Council, which is led by our Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa, who could not join us today, but we've launched the National Strategic Plan. This plan will guide us for the next 5 years. Please do engage, go to the SANEC website and also engage. Every district, every province, every local municipality has got the AIDS Council. Go and take part in that space. Whether you are in the faith sector, you are lesbian, you are young, you are woman, that space is for you and you need to participate in the AIDS Councils. Thanks.
Please open First Lady's mic.
Thank you, Griselda. I think most of the questions have been answered by the government officials, and the one which was posed by the lady who said she was practicing psychology, I didn't quite get the question. It wasn't clear, but she mentioned that a 14-year-old, she has a challenge that to explain the hashtag that has been trending in the wake of women being killed and abused, which is men are trash. And I think it's the responsibility as parents. It's a challenge that we're facing, all of us, as to at home, are we still parenting our children? Are we still working together with the teachers? How much do we allow our kids to be exposed to in things like internet, unlimited internet, and social media? Do we educate our children about what social media was intended for, that it was an empowering tool? It was intended to empower us, but not to post naked pictures that we find our girls now in compromising positions of being abducted or of being raped. So it is a challenge that it faces us as parents to ensure that we limit our children to the exposure to social media per age, because once they get older, we give them phones, they're in universities. It's also, the challenge still remains with us to ensure that we guide them on why they should be on social media. And I think another one, the question was about the foundation. Yes, the National Foundation, and he confused me when he mentioned Mpumalanga and KwaMashu, but the Listen to the Girl Child campaign was launched in KwaMashu because we believe that cities, since the declaration that was signed in Paris, the 1990 declaration, cities is where our most population of young people are, and we need to work very closely to ensure that you know, those programs are tailor-made to suit those that are in the cities and also to suit those that are in the rural areas. My foundation works very closely with people in the rural areas. In fact, that's where my passion is, because they have very limited access to information, very limited access to screening services, and I think that's where we should really focus our energies when it comes to healthcare services, that we create equitable access to our people, that they're not defined by their geographic location as to what it is that they can have access to. It's their constitutional rights. We've been to Limpopo, we've been to Northwest, we've been to Eastern Cape, and yeah, we've been to the townships as well, and we're still hoping to cover as much of South Africa as possible. I'm not too sure if I'm leaving anything out, but there is a lady who spoke about sports, music, and the information. We use, as I said, information has to be tailor-made to be attractive to our youth. So if it means we have concerts, we want our artists that our youth idolizes to empower them about the knowledge on how to respond to these challenges. So we've had concerts as well where we had you know, our artists empowering and educating our people in a relaxed environment where people, you know, enjoying themselves, but also are being empowered. And I think, yeah, I've covered more or less everything, but there's one question which was not covered, where there is a young lady who said, how can we, those that have preserved themselves and are still izintombi, how can we be honored? How can we be recognized? Because another one was also saying that discounting the importance of culture. Our culture is our identity. So the lady who rose and said she also would like to see izintombi being honored. It's a personal choice for a person to say, I need to be tested, my virginity, and we can't then say we can't create that platform. And traditional leadership plays a very important role there, where the traditional leaders, and I think the spouses of the traditional leaders, should be taking on that role of encouraging our young girls to remain pure until a certain age. So I personally would like to connect with that lady who made that comment, because we need to encourage our children to still remain pure. There's no rush. 10 years later, it will still be there. So you don't need to rush into things that can wait while you are still putting together your life and educating yourself and empowering yourself in a way that no one can take education from you. And once you are educated, you can negotiate even the arrangements, how do we engage sexually? Because at the moment, that's why our young children, our young girls find themselves in compromising positions because of they don't have economic power. So they must stay at school, get educated. In that way, when you're educated, uyakwazi ukuthinta isixuxu sakho, akho umuntu ozokutshela ukuthi fanele kwenzeke kanjani. You're gonna be equals, nikwazi ukunegotiate ama-arrangements even ekhaya. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. The patron of Thobeka Madiba Zuma Foundation. And as you can see on that video as well, that's the work that the foundation does. I'd like to now call upon Dr. Ramnika Lualia to respond to all the questions that are related to HE/AIDS.
Right, thank you everyone, Deputy Ministers, First Lady, DGs, DDGs, and everyone, every protocol observed, and also the partners, development partners present in here. The questions that were raised, one is the peer education program. Last year, HE/AIDS developed 12,000 foot soldiers. We call them peer educators in every TVET and every university campus on a comprehensive methodology. 5 big chapters: HIV, TB, STI. Second chapter is women empowerment. Third is LGBTI empowerment, men empowerment, drugs and alcohol abuse. Comprehensive integration of all these issues. This year, again, we're going to be rolling out, and peer education remains our critical and most standing point. Regarding the pre-exposure prophylaxis, the demonstration sites are being piloted, as I'm aware, with the Department of Health. We're looking at the results coming out of those demonstration sites. The plan is to bring it now to universities and TVET colleges. But it's going to be part of the comprehensive prevention package. Now, we also know that many of our young girls and young men in our universities and colleges are HIV negative, and pre-exposure prophylaxis at adolescent and young women, once the demonstration site results come, will be a huge support to to the program. Regarding accreditation sites, when we started this journey in 2011, there were only 2 clinics in the entire higher education that were accredited. Today we have 13 clinics accredited with ARVs. The process is on. Now, what we have done is to make it youth-friendly with the support of Department of Health is that children who go for holidays from their campuses, they can now take 3 months of their treatment with them. And these are big breakthroughs that we've been able to do. This is youth-friendly for us. In certain provinces, and must say a few provinces here, and their leadership who has helped with the higher education, where students can show a student card and do not need to stand in the long queues to get ARVs. So simple youth-friendly services methodology is being worked up. We are fully aware that the clinics within the TVET colleges is a huge challenge, and we do not have clinics within TVET colleges. We're working in provinces to bring mobile health clinic on frequent basis. First Things First program is designed on the basis of bringing comprehensive health and wellness services at the doorsteps of young people, and we are aware they do not need to leave their classes, and they rather get the services at their doorsteps. Lastly, the question of about, have I answered everything? I think yes, thank you.
I believe you've answered all of them, and once again, we do have a platform, website where you can send more questions and inputs. I'd like now to have responses from my panelists before we have our Deputy Minister giving us a vote of thanks, and you will come back again, Ramnik, to just give us quickly the announcements, what happens from here on. I'd like to start with Norato Murulane. By the way, if you're listening to my pronunciation of R, blame Basotho. I was raised by Basotho. They don't know how to say R, so it's their fault that I can't pronounce R. And it's been the story of my life. Basotho, it's your fault. She's chairperson of She Conquers.
Okay, thank you. All right, I would like to start by answering the question whereby young men will be playing a role in the She Conquers campaign. My gentle brother, I believe that the moment as a young person you realize a gap, it means that you need to fulfill your purpose and close that gap. We shouldn't, as young people, wait for confirmation and be spoon-fed, because the moment you do that, it means every day the numbers are increasing. So if you realize that there is a greater need for men to be engaged, start at your community. You don't have to get funding, you don't have to have big resources. As long as at the end of the day you have knowledge, that's all you need. And to engage with She Conquers, you can connect with us on our Facebook page or Twitter. And if you think that's going to take forever, you can connect with me on Facebook or Twitter. It's Lerato Lahamurulani. And also, on the guys who are impregnating girls, we have Brothers for Life. We have programs as brothers, such as Brothers for Life, a young man, and take it further and also realize your full purpose as a young man. Lastly, I think as young people, we need to acknowledge that we are diverse and we have the LGBTI in our community. We have young women, we have young men, we have people with disability. We need to find a way of working together and harmonizing everything and making sure that we push the human rights agenda forward. And also go out there as a young woman, because I feel like as young people, we're always putting the blame on the people with mileage. I call them people with mileage. We're always putting the blame on people with mileage. However, we do not research. We don't go out there and demand. It is our world. At the end of the day, after 2030, we are the ones who are supposed to be leading. So it's up to us whether we sit down or we go out there and look for information. And lastly, there was somebody who said that young women shouldn't go to clubs and they shouldn't be to avoid being raped and all those kind of stuff. But then my question to you as an individual is that if I hit you with a spade, would you call it gardening? Because rape, it's rape, whether you are wearing something short or long. So if I hit you with a spade, would you call it gardening? And I would like to close. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tsepang?
the first thing I'd like to address is someone who asked what AfriMan is. AfriMan is Silo Makika Foundation, where we challenge men that are on autopilot, because we believe that most men are on autopilot. So we challenge gender-based roles that men and women should participate in, because we don't believe that women should do certain acts and men should do certain acts. It's where the problem actually starts. So we have an organization where we have plays and we engage with different artists through plays and challenge such roles in that space. And secondly, the lady that asked about men are trash and their child asking about men are trash, I think it's on the basis of education and how we should always educate our children. With men are trash, men were more protective as to being educated. So the more we educate people as to what men are trash stands for, the synonyms behind what men are trash stands for, the abuse, everything that encompassed in men are trash, I think we'll have more of a better perspective and we'll move forward as men and women, and we'll always support each other. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mandisa, you didn't tell us what Murray Trust does, and that was the question directed to you.
Sure. Thank you, Criselda. I'm just going to quickly talk about a program called the Activate Change Drivers Program. This is an initiative by the DG Murray Trust. I'm going to assume that there are some activators at the back. Lovely. You can, I'm not sure where the lady is, I'm hoping you're still here, but you can get in touch with myself and I'll direct you to any of the ladies here or the gentleman over there. But you could also just type in Activate Change Driver on Google. There's plenty of information on what the program does. It's a one-year program. I myself am alumni of this program. It equips you with skills development, helps you build capacity, harness your true potential, and really you get to tap into who you really are. There are change drivers all across the country doing amazing things in different fields, and we're all just trying to do exceptional in various fields. Yeah, thank you.
And where do we find it? How do we find it?
Activate Change Drivers on Google. There is a website. You can apply online. It is absolutely free. You go through the one-year program. It is not a qualification, but it is life skills helping you harness your true potential.
Thank you very much. I'd like to now call upon our Deputy Minister to give us closing remarks and some of his inputs, and later on Ramni comes through to just give us some of the announcements, and we're done.
No, thank you very much, Comrade Facilitator, the Deputy Ministers, MEC, Nkosi, the First Lady, our partners, students, young people from South Africa. Thank you indeed for attending this conference. Of course, we are closing the conference tomorrow, but we truly thank you for engaging us in the manner that you did. And I say that this conference is really unique. It's unique because it's not focusing on your biomedical research, new innovation in the field of HIV infections, treatment, care, but it is now focusing on the social and structural drivers of the pandemic. It is also unique because for the first time, academics and political leaders were listening to you. And this is a directive that we also got from the Deputy President. He said he wants to listen to young people. And I think it's about time that we do that. So this conference was really about you. Nekhuluma nezinkokheli zenu ukuthi ama-solutions singafika njani kuwona. I'll respond to a couple of issues, of course, of questions rather, related to NASFA's underfunding at TVET colleges and all of that. If free education for the poor and the working class is a policy of government, no doubt about that. It is a policy of government, and we are not dilly-dallying. I can tell you we are not dilly-dallying. The president appointed a commission last year to investigate how we can best fund the system and then advise government on how we can reconstitute the entire post-school education and training system. So we will be making pronouncements late in the year on how we are going to go about introduce. I don't want to preempt the outcome, but I'm saying the commission is to the president, or they will table their recommendations to the president later this month, and therefore we should just allow them to conclude whatever work that they were tasked to do. But it is a policy of government. But as the Deputy Minister was saying, it's not free education for all. There can never be such policy. Where would we get the money? Fiscal position quite precarious, and therefore we're not in a position, we can never be in a position to actually fund all our students, even those who can actually afford. Those who have money must take their kids to school, while cushions who come from poor and working class families. With regards to TVET colleges, you're quite right. Funding for TVET colleges is standing at 54%, down from 80%. And this does not bode well for producing the much needed skills to grow and transform our economy. It does not. But we are engaging National Treasury. Deputy Minister Buthelezi can attest to this. We are engaging them. But universities too are underfunded. And we are hoping that the Commission will come up with concrete proposals and recommendations to government. They will also have to advise us on where we'll get this money. So we understand the challenges and we take them very seriously. Now, there have been proposals put on the table on how we can go about, raising this money. Others have spoken of wealth tax, corporate tax, and many other ways. So we will be taking decisions going forward around this matter so that we really fund the system ngendlela ezokwazi ukuthi abafundi bafunde, baqeqesheke, bahambe, bayothola imisebenzi. I thought Dr. Dlomo is going to touch on this, excuse me, of pastors who say they can cure HIV/AIDS. There's nothing like that. There is no cure. There is no cure. Akungadlalwa ngathi kudlalwe nangabantu bakithi. clinics at TVET colleges, Ramnik, or Dr. Alwalia rather, has submitted a proposal to the department. I'm glad the Chief Financial Officer from the Department of Higher Education and Training is here. So they must just meet with he has submitted a proposal on how we can actually, establish these clinics at our TVET colleges, working with our partners, of course, and we want to thank them because they have been very supportive. They have been very supportive. PEPFAR, USAID, the World Health Organization, and many of the partners who have assisted even in putting together this big forum or conference. So we are going to deal with that. We'll just have to find the money and see what we can do. There was a plea from one student who said, please help us as TVET college students to access workplace training, to access workplace exposure. We are doing this work. We have been meeting with employers. There is a program that I lead in the department called the Decade of the Artisan Program, where we are looking at increasing the production of artisans in the country by firstly encouraging young people to take up careers along technical and artisanal skills, but also engaging employers to work very closely with our TVET colleges, engaging employers to open up their workplaces so that our artisan learners can acquire the exposure that they need in order to qualify and become competent artisans. So we are doing this at the level of the HRDC, which is again chaired by the Deputy President. There's also work and much efforts there driven by the DP himself of engaging employers to adopt colleges. So there is that which we are now championing, where we want employers really to forge a partnership between our TVET colleges and our employers. Our strong belief, Deputy Ministers, is that the growth of the economy rests on the shoulders of a strong TVET system. And that is why we are worried, we are very much worried at the fact that this sector is so underfunded. And we can never speak so confidently about wanting to grow the economy if we don't inject money into the TVET sector. So and hence we've been having these discussions, as I said earlier, with National Treasury, because we have to fund the system more adequately in order for us to have an economy which will breed jobs and all of that. On NYTA, by the way, Deputy Minister Manamela will be arriving. He will be joining some of the sessions later. So those who want to engage him on issues of NYTA can do so much later on. NASFAS, of course, there are administrative inefficiencies, no doubt about that. And we are really looking at dealing with those and addressing those inefficiencies. But I would really, because I'm aware of this issue of students who have not yet received their money because they have not signed agreement forms. We've received a number of queries from students, and when we made contact with NASFAS, they said to us, students are not signing agreement forms. Now, I am meeting with the leadership of SAUS sometime next week. The leadership of SAFETA is here. Now, SAUS is the South African Union of Students, and SAFETA is the South African Further Education and Training Student Association. So I'll also be meeting with them. They've already requested a meeting that we should meet on the sidelines of the conference to discuss some of these issues. So we want to get a sense from them if what NSFAS is saying is indeed true. Once we've solved that, I think we'll be okay. Yes, the allocation increased. Deputy Minister Teles is correct. Funding allocation has increased more exponentially over the last 2 years since the Fees Must Fall campaign started. But as you would appreciate, it's just not enough. It has certainly gone a long way. But it is still not sufficient. So we have to find creative ways, really, of getting new money to fund our students so that they succeed in their learning. I think the student, yesterday I visited more than 4 or 5 satellite sessions where male students were saying to us, look, this is not just about females. Issues of gender-based violence is not really about females. We as males want to be involved, listen to us, to Dr. Alwale, because we do have a men's empowerment program, by the way, under HATES, called the Brothers for Life. I said to Dr. Alwale, we have to strengthen that program. So we will be engaging our male students, even if we have to have road shows where we visit students, because it is through discussions like this where we can be able to find solutions. Just my last point. One student said, no, we come here and talk, then we'll come back again next year. This is a first of its kind conference, by the way. First of its kind. And we are here not to reinvent the wheel. We are here to take stock of the work that we have done, of the successes, where the limitations were, and all of that, and then find ways of taking the program forward, new ideas, suggestions, proposals. This conference is really about you, because when it was conceptualized, one of the things that I said to Dr. Alwalia and the team was that let's make this conference about the students, about young people. And when we engaged the presidency, they shared the same sentiments, that actually the deputy president, and I have been crisscrossing with him, to different areas or to different parts of the country where he was leading career and youth expos, and that's what he prefers, to have the students, because as government leaders we assume that it's actually fine, or we assume that when we come to these gatherings and when we deliver speeches and leave, we would have actually addressed the problems. But now we are changing tune. We are saying, let's hear. But also, I said yesterday, those were, I think, in the UN Women Satellite session, I said, you must also remember that you cannot be the only providers of solutions just because you are young. We as government leaders, we as academics, and everybody, those who have walked the road before you can also share some insight, and of course you can also make your inputs, and in that way the slogan that says nothing about us without us then resonates very well with that kind of an approach, and this conference in particular. But it can be everything about us for us, that can't work. Policymakers are here, academics are here, students are here. Let us engage asijule ngengxoxo ukuze sikwazi ukuthola ama-solutions azosisa phambili. We cannot find solutions uma singahlangani kanje sitshelane ukuthi lokhu. And I said yesterday again, criticize government, criticize academics, criticize everybody, but also allow us to criticize you. And as we criticize one another, sikwenze lokho with an aim of finding solutions. We have to find solutions, be it solutions in relation to funding, to the pandemic and everything else, but we have to talk to one another and really find one another so that we can have this system producing the kind of skills and education that it is expected to produce. We'll continue to support UMP, University of Mpumalanga, and SPU. No doubt about this. Our new universities in post-apartheid South Africa. We are babysitting them. They are growing. They are finding their feet. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Mpumalanga is here, Professor Mayigiso, and she was just extending an invitation earlier to me that I should come and visit the university so that we see the new structures that have been put up there. It's a beautiful university, and it's in my home province in Mpumalanga. So that is very great. So we'll continue to support these two universities with everything at our disposal, and we hope that with these new structures, students of UMP.
Well, there was the minister, the Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Mr. Mduduzi Manana, just summing up some of the issues that were raised by scores of youth who are actually taking part in today's conference today. Just a number of the issues that he has been answering to, issues with regards to TVET college recognition. The students are still complaining about issues of accommodation, issues of the qualification that they get from these TVET colleges, and also the issue just broadly of free education. That is what the Deputy Minister is basically saying, is that the President of the country will be receiving the report from the commission that was formed to look into the feasibility of the free higher education in South Africa. But before perhaps we delve into a host of other issues that were raised today by the youth, let me welcome Lerato Murolane, who is the chairperson of the She Conquers campaign. Lerato, thank you very much for joining us. What are the objectives of this campaign?
Thank you for having me, sir. The objective, so She Conquers, it's a multi-sectoral campaign which is cuts across. It's a national campaign for adolescent girls and young women. Now, She Conquers, it has 5 objectives. Those 5 objectives, it's economic empowerment, decreasing numbers of teenage pregnancy, decreasing number of gender-based violence, decreasing numbers of HIV new infections, and keeping girls in schools. Why are we keeping girls in schools? Because we have realized that adolescent girls and young women, they don't get to school up until they finish their matric, with such issues such as sanitary pads or dignitary pads. It's one of the issues that also keep them out of school. But then other than that, it's also teenage pregnancy. So out of all that, the teenage pregnancy, we have realized that we have 90,000 new teenage pregnancies every year. It means every year we have 90,000 teenage mothers. Also, the HIV new infections, we have 2,000 HIV new infections every week in South Africa, which is very alarming if you look at it. And also economic empowerment. We have young women who depend on macho mobile men or blessers or sugar daddies, whatever you want to call them. So we have realized that there is a need for us to have this campaign and ensure that we empower young women in their diversity, whether they are lesbian, whether they are transgender. It's up to them to take the decision, and we have taken a step as adolescent girls and taking the lead in this whole thing.
Lerato, do you find that perhaps there is a link between gender-based violence and the prevalence of HIV amongst women?
To be honest and frank about it, there is a link, because if you look at it, most of the young women that get infected, it's either by sexual violence or they get beaten by their partner and forced into sleeping with them. So there is a link in that if you find a partner that doesn't want to use a condom by sleeping with you, and or you say no, technically that is sexual violence. If you sleep with a man who is older and you are not really passionate about doing it, at the end of the day it's sexual violence. But then the problem with that is that young women are not capacitated enough to know the difference between love and hate and sexual violence, so it forces them to dwell down into the macho mobile man syndrome, and at the end of the day they don't know the difference between gender-based violence and also sexual gender-based violence and also love. So
Right. What are you hoping to gain out of this conference? I know it's the first of its kind in the country, and the issues are quite vast if you hear the youth that has been raising these issues. What exactly are you hoping to achieve as the She Conquers campaign chairperson?
well, my hope here is to make sure that we harmonize research and advocacy, because if you look at it, South Africa, we are focusing more on policies and the implementation. That's where we are lacking. So this is a phase whereby we can find a way of harmonizing policies and also the advocacy and work on the ground. So my aim here is to make sure that academics and people out of school who are here, they make a point that they go back to the ground. As much as they're capacitated with research, it's about high time we go to the ground and implement. It's not about when, but we need to start now, and we have started, to be honest, with this conference. Yes, it's a first of its kind, and we are hoping to have more endeavors as time goes. It's about time we go to the ground and work with young people.
Lerato, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
All the best. Well, there was Lerato Morolena, who is the chairperson of the She Conquers campaign, and she's part of the youth, many of them that have come here to discuss issues around affecting young people at varsity, tertiary institutions as well. And perhaps some of the issues that have been raised, if I can just refer back to my notes, issues of hate crimes against LGBTI people in society. We had the Deputy Minister of Correctional Services and Constitutional Development, Mr. John Jeffries, saying that a lot is being done to address such issues. But I'll hand over to Johannesburg for now.
Not in my name. Can we hear men saying this? Can we hear men saying this? Can we hear men hashtag saying this? Can you stand and say this, South African men? We hear you and we thank you. She conquers. That's where we end. Thank you.
Lots of students we found their IDs. So please, if you have lost your ID or your documents, they are available outside. Please be encouraged. This is for a youth voice. A youth voice has been heard. I really want to thank also the media houses that have picked up and taken this information to the entire country. So thank you everyone for the live streaming. Many sessions are going to start now from 1 o'clock. There are many satellite sessions, skill building sessions. There's edu-entertainment happening where universities, TVETs, communities, schools, they're all performing to show their work to each other. So please participate. Have lunch outside. Your lunch is being served. And colleagues, thank you very much for being here. Thank you.